What's up, everyone? Welcome to the RRBG podcast. I am joined by Bob Bradley, PR extraordinaire, as I saw online, and also from Fake Figures. How are you, brother?
Little bass.
A little bassy bass.
I'm good, dude. How are you?
As I was saying,
story time.
As I was saying, I drove down to San Diego yesterday to do a podcast. I was invited by my buddy Joel Jimenez, who's a comedian, to do this cool emo brown society or something. I don't know what the podcast is called, but yeah, it's just a bunch of brown dudes listening to The Cure and the Smiths, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, we did this podcast. I had a couple drinks, which my tolerance is usually great. You know, I'm a professional beer guy. I can have like 6 or 7 beers before I start feeling, weird. I had 3, and I puked. I immediately puked. I blacked out, like went into like a couch and like fell, like just lay down. Like I've never had that happen before. So I'm like, maybe I was drugged.
Yeah, you didn't spike your beer.
Yeah, it makes no sense, dude. 3 beers.
Cocktails, not beers. I mean, come on. People shouldn't spike anything. I'm not implying it, but like
definitely not beer.
Maybe it's a bad beer. Let's not call up brewery.
I'm not gonna call it the brewery, but I mean, it was a lager. It wasn't even like I was having some crazy stout. 12% stout with bourbon or whatever. Like it was just a lager, Mexican lager. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like,
you piss somebody off and they just like, Beetlejuice, they sprinkle a little something in your
I guess,
beer.
Man. I try not to piss anybody off. I'm always trying to be nice as much as possible. I think that's something that everyone should be doing.
It's like 4 podcast episodes ago, Eddie, you talk crap on this one guy who just happened to be there. He saw you and he sprinkled some shit in your beer.
Probably. Who knows, man? It's a weird world we live in.
Cruel World. Isn't that like a festival coming up?
Cool World is a festival that's coming up, man. So tell me, I know your time is a little limited. If you want, we can do 2 of these.
Hey,
but
2 beers, 2 episodes.
I'll do 2. One where I'm not hungover, post drugged.
Dude, speaking of beers, by the way, I just picked up from the brewery. They have like this donut box, and it comes in this cool pink box, and it's got a Danny Trejo beer from his donut shop. And dude, it's so good, man. It's got
really the brewery, like the ones from Placentia.
Yeah, like they're not a client. I'd love for them to be a client, but I just love their stuff, and I picked it up, and I was happy. And it tastes. So, anyways.
That's cool. I go there. I try to go there like once a month with my wife. She loves it. She loves all their sours, and I like all their crazy stouts. So we go buy one of those flights with like 5 or 6 different beers, and we just sip them outside with the dog, chilling. Mm-hmm. So it's a fun time there. But it makes me think of when we met. We didn't drink, but we met at just kind of like a gathering that Vadim put together.
Oh, right. Yeah. Over at we went to that vegan place and then the donut shop.
Yeah, Vadim, who is a genius, but also plays in Poison the Well.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them. He put a blast out on Facebook, which I thought like really caught my attention because I know him and we've talked and hung out, but like. I've never sat down for like a meal, and he was like, hey, who wants to sit down and have a meal and get to know each other? And I'm like, wow, no one does that. That's awesome.
I loved it. It was cool. Travis was there, and who else? There was one other cool person there.
I forget.
I don't know, but
I don't think I stayed in touch. I stayed only in touch with you and Travis, and that's my fault. My bad.
Don't do that stuff anymore. It's like kind of like I think everyone's kind of waiting around. They're like, why hasn't anybody reached out to me? And it's just like, I think everyone just needs to be proactive because it's not like years and years ago where like there was kind of our circle. We have our buddy Tony who sets a lot of stuff up, but then we get busy, we have kids and all that stuff. And then whose turn is it to kind of set stuff up with friends? So
right.
Thanks, Vadim. Thanks for setting that up. Miss you, dude.
Yeah, I miss you, man. And I'm stoked because I don't know. I'm sure he is, but Poison the Well is playing shows soon, hopefully.
So like are they playing Furnace Festival?
They're playing Furnace. They're playing Psycho.
Yeah.
I'm going to Psycho. I don't have tickets yet, but I'm going, and I'll figure it out when I get there.
I don't know. Just say, enough people. They can
that's my thing. Like I know enough bands, and I mean I've worked with Psycho in the past. I've done interviews there, in an official capacity. So
whoever founded it on the show, and then just be like, dude, like I need to get into this thing. I'll pay you, and then
I'll pay money. I'm not here to get freebies.
I
don't want freebies. I'll pay for my press pass. I don't care. I just want to go and support the bands and hang out and see people that I haven't seen in a year and a half because of the pandemic and everything.
It's weird, dude. Things just kind of came back to normal. It was like you wake up one day and it's just like, all right, let's just book every festival at once and like make everybody poor again.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. Like I have all these people hitting me up and I'm going to see bands that I would normally not go see, without just wanting to go hang out and just go see some cool music, So I think that thank goodness, man, like all the people that do sound, that set up festivals, like the musicians, like all these people are like getting back to work. And it's just like, nobody should be asking like, dude, can you get me on the guest list? It's like, dude, pay for that shit. Like support these artists,
Yeah, I mean, who?
Unless it's us on the guest list, of course.
If it's us, no. I still pay. Look, I know all the dudes between the buried and me, but as soon as the tickets went on sale, I bought a ticket. I mean, I'm going to support because here's the thing: if Paul goes, hey man, I'll put you on the list, I will give that ticket to someone. Someone has a free ticket to go to the show, But I want to support the band.
That would be good band karma. It's like, oh, I can get a refund on that ticket. It's like, no, you give it to somebody. Like,
no.
They'll be stoked,
I only ever did that to Eric Clapton. I sold Eric Clapton some weed, and I got 4 front row seats to his show.
That's like Willie Nelson on top of the White House kind of story, dude. Like,
dude, yeah, I don't know. I was doing stage production at the arena when Cream was doing their reunion tour.
That's dope.
And I just got one of their dudes headset, running around doing stuff, came up to me. He's like, hey man, you know where we can find some weed from Mr. Clapton? And I'm like,
no, Mr. Clapton would like some weed.
I said, yeah, I got you. I'm not a drug dealer. I wasn't carrying, but I was like, yep, I'll find it.
Yes, sir. Here, Mr. Clapton, here's some sweet Wheezy for you, buddy. Cool.
So, yeah, they gave me 4 front row tickets, but I was working the show. So I just went outside and sold the tickets to some fans that were like, I got front row seats. Who wants them?
And you can go buy some more beer and weed with that. And it's
I took my crew
right there, like
talking about karma. I took my crew to Hooters and bought them all wings and beers. That's what we did. All my homies were like, hey guys, come on, lunch is on me.
The food is good. They're tater tots and stuff. And I haven't been there in forever. I haven't been to a lot of places in forever, but Hooters is probably on that list. So.
Yeah, Hooters is not one that I'm looking forward to going back to, though. It's one of those. That was a time in my life. I'm over it now. Thanks.
Got to know about like Tilted Kilt or something. I think that's their like arch nemesis.
Right. Yeah, because they have the girls in the skirts or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, I think you guys are trying to do their thing just a little bit. But yeah, man, everything's good. Everything's good.
PR work has got to be up and running again for everyone. I mean, it was still active during. I was getting a lot of emails.
Yeah, sorry.
Not just you. No, a lot of it from
this. It's like I'm teaching you guys, dude. It was like, I'm not gonna lie. In March of last year, when everything hit, just like for a lot of people were like pulling the plug on campaigns, and I'm like, am I gonna have to go mix paint at Lowe's? Cool. Yeah. Nothing wrong with doing that, but that's always my go-to. Like, if this doesn't work out, what am I gonna do? But then all of a sudden, in like late April or May, it's like people are like, I think they wanted to put their finances, if they had marketing money, into pushing themselves because they couldn't play shows. So it was actually like one of the best years ever last year after a big scare.
Yeah.
And everybody needs marketing, whether everything shifts to online only. Like, I don't know if you know our buddy Kevin Garcia, he's big in the live streaming world and set up this big operation where they're doing live streams for bands like Census Fail and Fever 333, and it's, selling the tickets and all that.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, I would rather have that kind of experience. And he capitalized on that. So, the economy in music kind of shifted a little bit, but you still got to promote it, right? You still got to have the marketing aspect. So thank God what I do is online. And I was born into the online PR kind of world at Fearless. So it's kind of my thing. So,
and it works out, man. You do well with it. And a lot of people, that's one thing I enjoyed about the pandemic, I guess, if you can enjoy the pandemic, it's seeing people evolve, seeing musicians like, well, shit, now what do we do? And seeing a lot of people adapting and making new crazy things happen. I mean, you also, like, for example, you had a book.
Yeah, it was kind of a, thanks for asking about it. You know, a little shameless self plug. I'm like, where is it? I'm in my room right now. Anyways,
you can get it on Kindle for $9.99 right now. Just letting you
on
know.
Audible too. But it's kind of the result. It's like, I'm going to be 40 this year. I've been doing this a while, and people ask a lot of questions. I mean, I'm glad people at least ask me questions, and but I'm like, how can I put this in a different format so people can be like, hey, check out the book, you know? And
yeah,
it's doing well, and I'm really stoked. And I'm doing another one for small businesses, and it's kind of like just repurpose a lot of the words and chapters, but towards small businesses. But it's, after a while, it's like companies create FAQ sections, you know, and it's just like, for me, I'm like, what do I do if people keep asking me these questions, but maybe they're not ready to hire me, or they're just my buddy, or they're sending me random messages on Facebook. I'll answer the question. I'm glad to help anybody, but I always drop them a link. And a lot of people are like, dude, this book is so dope, and it's really cheap. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than a PR campaign. So
yes. And it's an important lesson to learn, man. The DIY like aspect and mentality is what, you know, drove all these people during the pandemic. It's what made all these live stream concerts. I mean, I bought a few tickets to shows that were live streams, and it felt good to have something, you know?
Yeah, like Travis with the Atreyu camp, they did live stream, and it's like they did a cool package. They had like a shirt and a poster and a live stream, and it was not that expensive. And it's like, you know, I think people are like more than willing to support artists that get creative and put together packages, because people are just like, I want to have a music experience. It might not be the way that I'm used to, but this is a great option. And it forced artists to, you know, thrive or die, basically. You know, I'm sure a lot of artists didn't do anything last year, and maybe they wrote an album. That's totally cool. But if you want to stay active, it's like, there's only so many things you can do. And that's creating content and doing live streams. So
yeah, and a lot of people dealt with, you know, mental health battles at that time, because it was very depressing and kind of like uninspiring, you know, time where people don't.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, it was just, it was weird. And I don't think it matters how strong somebody was last year, even if they were killing it at whatever job. It's like the energy of the world was just weird, man. And I think it got to everybody, and whether they want to admit it or not. So now you go outside, and it's like nothing ever happened, at least here in Orange County. It's kind of weird, but
I'm a little weirded out, man, because I've been going out, I've been doing things, and then like I've also I look at my phone in the morning to see the news or whatever, just to because I got in that habit during 2016's presidential run. So I just got in the habit of like, well, did the world end? And then I'm awake. Should I go outside? Is it on fire? And I saw that. I still feel that. So I check my phone, and I see that, oh, there's a Delta variant of and cases are surging, and I'm like,
it's Loki. It's a variant.
Yeah. And then I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, man.
Not joking about it, but you know.
No, yeah, but still, even joking about it, like we're still pushing forward like everything's fine. And I'm like, maybe it's a trippy question. Like, well, was it a problem in the first place if we're just existing now and there's these cases? Like did we just switch off the care? Like, what happened? Everybody's like, oh, we don't care anymore. We're done.
I'm not political guy, so like this, whatever we talk about right now is not a political thing. I can't stand politics personally, but there's kind of three things, especially me working in media, and I just see the dynamic, and it's no jab at the big mainstream media. They got to make their money, but it's a business. And they've done studies, and there was a study that I read where this foreign, you know, popular website in like Europe or something, they posted nothing but good news for like one day, and their traffic went down to like 30%.
Nobody wants it. It's not entertaining enough.
Yeah. And it's like, I think John Krasinski did the Good News Network or whatever, and that's totally cool, but that's not what, you know, human beings are programmed to survive. And I know that's kind of deep, but it's like, that's, even when I see stuff and I see news that I'm like, ultimately, I don't want to die. And therefore I see things in the media, I'm like, okay, that might threaten my existence. That might threaten my existence. And then we click on it, then they make a lot of money on those, you know, those ads and stuff. And it's like, what kind of content is going to best get the most clicks? And so, yeah, of course, anything that has to do with pandemics or tragedies or shootings or gangs, like it's always going to be like positioned in a way to get the most attention. Is it real? Absolutely. And we have to be careful with the pandemic. I'm not,
Right.
giving any air to that, but is it blown up a little bit sometimes to get more attention and make more money? Of course. And, but that's said in the most respectful way possible, because, everyone has the right to make their own decision. But I'm like, I got vaccinated. I don't want to die. I want to be careful. I want to respect people. But people have to realize that the media is built around making money. Are there journalists that, most journalists, of course, want to do this because they love what they do and they care about their, beats that they write about and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's a business, man. And, people have to be careful about what they read and not live, I don't want to say don't live in fear, but it's like, be careful, but also, don't crutch completely on what you read online, like have intelligent conversations with other intelligent people of different walks of life and come to those conclusions. Don't live in a vacuum or a bubble, because that's what the media does as well. It's an echo chamber for whatever you want to get into, and that's totally cool. That's totally cool. But, it's like that with music too. It's like, if someone's really into metalcore and you start following nothing but metalcore or BT Bam or, Parkway Drive or hip hop or anything, it's like, you're going to start getting fed content that pleases your needs. That's because then they make more money that way and you're a happier social media user. But it works like that with politics and with, health and tragedy and news. And if you click on nothing but memes of cats, you're probably going to get a lot of cat memes in your stream. So
our AI algorithmic overlords are in control of that.
Or cat memes, please. And it's like, they're hilarious and they're cute. So
but it takes your mentality. It takes having your mentality. It's not. I know a lot of people that go through life very just kind of nonchalant. They don't analyze anything. Like I'll have a lot of my old Cuban buddies that I stay in contact with, that I'll send them messages and it's not even in their radar. Like they don't understand like how things operate, which is what the book that you're talking, like DIY, like you need to learn how things operate so you can, make a better existence for yourself, Yeah.
And it's because I have so much respect for journalism, and hopefully nothing that I said is like trying to like prod at these people. It's just kind of like literally what it is. But for musicians, it's like a lot of artists out there are going to do their own media and they're going to reach out to the media. They need to at least educate themselves on how the ecosystem works and how, those little keywords that are used, the lingo and the language and the culture. And if they understand that and how to pitch, they're going to do a better job and piss off less journalists. And, it's like, don't email people today and then follow up on Saturday or on Monday. It's like, give it, those little things, don't write emails that are 6 paragraphs long. Just keep it short and sweet. It's like, hey, Eddie, you want to have my client on the podcast? They're badass, blah, blah, blah. That's it. Not here's a novel. Cause you're just going to put that shit in the trash.
There's so many.
Yeah. But it's specific understanding. It's like anything. You want to get into the beer industry, you got to understand.
You got to pay your dues.
Everything from cleaning the toilet to, getting the hops to creating the whole, system. It's you have to understand it like a business and how the whole culture and the whole system works. And that's with anything, right? With anything, any industry.
Yeah, it's like those kids that you see that are in bands that run up to bands with their demo and it's a burnt CD with a Sharpie, and they're just like, here, man. And it's like, that's not gonna. This is going straight in the trash, where it belongs.
2001, not 2021.
Yeah, right.
People want to consume things in different ways. They don't want to be fed information the way that things were in 2004. And you have to adapt to that, or people are not going to listen. That's why people consume through, Instagram and TikTok and through brief bits of information that are short and sweet. And it's like, that's how people consume info and that's how they want it. So give things to people with brevity. People like emails. They don't like phone calls, and that's not my fault. I know people complain about that, but that's just kind of how it is with a good portion of the population. So
yeah, I'm definitely at a point now where when phone calls come in, I make noises. You know what I mean? That's my response. It's like, oh.
I'm like, dude, is something wrong?
Oh, shit. This is a problem.
The house burnt down? Like, oh, you're just saying hi.
Yeah.
I feel like an asshole, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's just
Even
and
my mom, dude. My mom, when she calls, I'm like, "What happened?" Like,
your dad destroyed the cooker.
yeah,
And
right.
you don't know how to turn on the computer. What is an Apple Watch? Is it spying on me? I'm like, no, no.
It has a
Oh,
camera. It's looking right at me.
yeah. Yeah, it's like, do you have a phone? You're already being spied on. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else that's out there in the world, like the
Yeah.
nests and all that stuff. And I'm like, we're already giving up so much information just being on social media.
I have nothing to hide. I'm not making, drugs or bombs or guns or whatever in my backyard. Like, I'm good. What do you want to look at me, watch pro wrestling and talk to my friends online?
Dude. Oh yeah, and speaking of the book, the guy who did all the music for the WWE for 30 years bought my book, and he reached out to me, and I'm just like,
Jimmy
my
Johnson?
God. Yes.
Dude.
And
I
I'm like,
love that man.
so cool and nerdy and just like a cool, normal guy. And like, I don't know. I'm just like, I think because I grew up watching wrestling as a kid, and then I fell out of that and I got into music and, sports for a little while. But like, it's like that guy's had such a massive impact on, I'm sure he'd want to do the show unless he already did it with you.
He has not. I reached out on Instagram. So if you're watching this, sir, come on over.
He won't mind, but I'll give you his email and
Cool.
you guys connect. So he's asking about PR and stuff, and he wants to create his own journey and create his own version 2.0 of composing. And it's like,
Absolutely.
when you're known, it's like Stifler from American Pie. It's like all you're known is for that. It's like it's hard to reinvent yourself. It's like Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. It's like I see that guy in every movie. I'm like, it's Harry Potter.
Right.
It's I get it. It kind of sucks, but like I think Jim's gonna have a lot easier time than Harry Potter. But it takes time. It takes finesse. It takes storytelling and just getting the gig right.
For sure. You know who's pulling that off right now is Danny Elfman. I don't know if you've been keeping up with him, but
of course he's the man, dude.
You went from Oingo Boingo to the guy who makes the Batman song, and Nightmare Before Christmas and all that stuff. And it's like, is that Nightmare Before Christmas? I don't remember, but
did you do the Simpsons theme? Yeah,
he might have done that too. But he's got this, it's like, it's a style. It's his style of music that makes like a whimsical kind of thing to it. And now he's putting out music with members of Dillinger Escape Plan and Devin Townsend. I'm just like, what the hell?
I mean, he's been composing for decades, just doing more mainstream stuff, like everything like Men in Black to more Big Fish. I think he did that. I mean, I think it's a Tim Burton movie, but just like stuff that's probably not as like obvious because maybe the movie isn't even that dark, but it's still, so, I mean, that guy, I don't think he's worried about his credit card getting declined anytime soon.
He's good.
He's fine, dude. But like, yeah, it's cool that he's doing actual music releases again, because I think the last thing that I knew about is like music for a darkened theater. Old school Danny Elfman soundtrack, which is just like his stuff, but that's like probably like 1991 that came out or something, or somebody will correct me, I'm sure.
Well, if Danny Elfman can do it, I think Jim Johnson can do it, because Jim Johnson wrote some of like the themes of my youth. I was that nerd with the WWE music CD at school.
I didn't even know that existed. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm running around with my Walkman listening to the Shawn Michaels song. I think I'm cute. It's like, what the?
Walk by you, you're like, what are you listening to, man? Like,
don't worry about it, man. I'm walking with the I'm doing the moves while I'm walking to class. Like,
you're like, don't pile drive me, Eddie. I'm on your side, man. Don't take my lunch. I won't pile drive you.
I was thankfully I was never a bully in high school. That's one thing I appreciate, that I always found myself ingrained in all of the different little circles in school, because there was always cliques, but I would be in all of them. I would be in like the chess. I'd be doing chess in like the library and magic cards, and then going and hanging out with the wrestlers and the cheerleaders, down in the gym afterwards.
Wrestling cheerleaders and the wrestlers, they're all fighting each other.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's important for people to also be, open when doing PR, when trying to become successful at your, by yourself. It's trying to, the networking word that, everybody throws it around. Oh, we got a network. Networking sounds too businessy,
I think you're absolutely right. It's just being open and not having like that agenda. And it's like being willing to help other people without expecting something back, and just getting to know like lots of like my phone's ringing and I'm like, don't interrupt me, Zoom. But yeah, just being open-minded and just being proactive about having conversations with people, whether it's over email or social media or in person. Remember that? Hanging out with people in real life.
Yeah, right.
And those people, if you're just cool to them, don't be a dick, just be cool to everybody. They're going to like say like, yeah, man, Eddie's got this like rad podcast, and all of a sudden you get a message from somebody who's a friend of a friend of a friend, and you get connected that way. And it's just, you just keep doing it. And then over time it works out.
Yeah.
Who
would have thought being nice works out?
Yeah. It's like, like the old friend that finally reaches out to you and it's just like, what scheme are they up to?
Right.
The prepaid legal. Like I literally got a call from an old friend, and he was in the hardcore scene a long time ago, and he was doing prepaid legal. And I'm like, oh, this guy's calling me. This is so cool. An old friend's reaching out to me. And then all of a sudden here comes the pitch. And I'm just like,
pyramid scheme.
And I'm like, you can't do it that way. It's like, you have to have it like in between, it's kind of PR, it's selling yourself without being like pushy.
Yeah.
It's always the hard part. Unless you just have something, like a B2B, like a business to business kind of thing where it's a direct question, go for it. But if not, just be.
Do you think that's something that people can learn to do? Because I'm starting to believe that it's something that people are born with. Like there's maybe like a switch that goes off when they're interacting with other people. Because I know a lot of people that just, even if they practice it, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's like, what's that book? Permission marketing. It's just you just got to try it. So people can teach you. You can go to marketing school. You can go to sales school. I don't know, but you can just be in that career that you're in. But like, you just got to do it, and then you just figure out what works and what doesn't. And then, but yeah, some people are born talkers, or they're born with that finesse to just know how to work a conversation and make people want to help them because they're cool people. And then there's other people that are just pushy, and you're just like, here comes that guy. Oh man,
the Punishers.
Yeah, and it's like, even there's people that like every time you hang out with them, it's like there always has to be some sort of agenda, or it's like, we got to work on this, and then it's kind of BS, and it's just like, dude, I'm here to hang out and just be a friend, and you talk about what each other is up to, but you don't have to have that agenda to work together. It just kind of happens naturally.
Yeah. I do have those constant battles though. Now with the podcast, now everywhere I go, I have my recorder and I'm like, I'm just going to put it in the back seat. Just know that it's here if you want to do something, but I'm here to hang out,
This is what you do. And it's like, you've had so much success, and I'm like, I don't know why you asked me to be on the podcast, but thank you. But
dude, you're a successful PR guy. You have a book. You're a business owner. You're in a band with
I know. I'm just being humble, I guess.
Humble? Don't be humble. You're a rock star, dude. You gotta start getting face tattoos and neck tattoos.
I'm like, bro, got my.
I'm sure that'll help with
tattoos on my arms and stuff, and that's about it. But I don't know. I want to get more. Like, I have a notable tattoo artist client, and went there, and his apprentice is like, "You want to get a tattoo right now?" And so a week ago, I got a tattoo, and
nice.
But you just kind of go with the flow too, right? But yeah, I mean, because of what you do and what you're known for, it's like you're going to attract the right fits for you, But I don't think every conversation you're going to have is like, dude, you should interview my friend Kim. She's super dope. Da, 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 da. It's like, I mean, of course you're going to get that, but you're going to run into the people that you want to talk to more and more, because you have all these people that, Dino. It's like, dude, one of the best guitar players in metal who's so influential. And it's like, people are going to see that you interviewed Dino, and then they're going to be like, well, I want to be interviewed by Eddie,
right.
Just your life gets easier. And
it's a very surreal experience. It's a very, very weird thing, especially for me, because I grew up as like a fanboy type, like super obsessed. Like when I discovered a band, it was everything. It was shirts, the fucking poster, the fucking, go to the concert. Like I was very obsessive with stuff. Like I still kind of am, my house is full of crap. You can see that. But
The wall, like we just painted, so there's nothing on the wall. But
ah,
yeah, I mean that experience, and that's why vinyl is selling well. It's just people want something to hold,
mhm.
That's. But dude, I remember like seeing like Fear Factory and at Ozfest '99, and I'm just like researching and digging in and finding all the bands that played, and just curiosity, man, like of music, and it's like you got to make that stuff available, and super dope. Just have cool shit from bands, you
So
know.
so I know your time is almost up, so I wanted to ask you about Fake Figures.
Yeah.
You guys have music that's out right now that's new-ish. I know
Yes.
we're a little behind. I should have talked to you sooner, but
Yeah.
is the plan to tour and all that when shit's
We're I
possible?
mean, basically we put out We Are the Dead. It's an EP in late 2019. Has Jonah from Far and one line drawing on that. That was surreal enough just to have him on that. And we're done writing a full length album.
Okay.
It's 10 or 11 songs, wrote 11, demoed out all the vocals. We're going in with our buddy Chris Como, who did like Assuming We Survive and a bunch of, he's been the drummer of a lot of bands. And, but we're about to record our full length, and that's going to come out on a label, maybe. Someone want to sign us?
Okay.
It just depends on what happens. We're all grown ass adults, and
It's interesting though because you guys are all from successful bands and stuff. Like you would assume, like in my brain, that's not even a question about the label thing.
well, it just depends on. That's a tough one because it's like recording is expensive, and there's a trade off in this music economy where it's like there's partnerships. It's like ideally for us, it's like, yeah, could we pay and record it on our own? Yeah, of course. But it's like, would it be cool to have a partner that could pay for the record and pay for the PR and help with the vinyl, and but not have us so indebted that like, like it's like, where did all these line items come from? And it's like bands are watching out for that. They're like, what can I do a la carte on our own? I could do our own PR, but would I rather hire Amy or one of the other badass metal publicists? It's like, of course. It's like it's kind of weird pitching your own band. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Yeah, a little bit.
It's kind of weird. It's like I'd rather just focus on my own clients,
Right.
and I got 2 kids and all that stuff. So I think labels now have to show the value, while the artist has to show the value as well. It's a business transaction where like, how many albums can Fake Figures realistically sell? And it's like, well, that association with a label might help, and some good marketing will help, and it's awareness as well. And I don't think we're going to tour. I'd love to do festivals and things like that. And, I'm not saying that we deserve the large festivals, but I think this album is really good. It's got some great songs, and, it's not reinventing any genres, but it's probably the best stuff we've ever written. And during the downtime last year, Travis wrote most of the music, because Trey wasn't touring, and it just created this like cool, collective amongst all of us to come in and do the vocals, the bass, the more guitar ideas. And it's just like, these songs are good, man. They're like super heavy rock. It's like in those pocket of bands like Ages and I don't want to say Beartooth. They're a little bit more, Every Time I Die meets the Used kind of stuff, but we're a little bit more dirty, I guess.
Yeah.
But Every Time I Die is super complicated and makes me feel like a terrible musician.
Well, it's
Yeah.
complicated, but it's also riffy. I guess there's a lot of breakdowns, a lot of boom, moments of bouncing.
Dude,
that,
I was to Periphery last night, like it was Hail Stan, and I'm just like, cool, I give up. I'm like, then I'm like, wait a second, this is like in the most respectful way, because I think they're incredible, and I want to get the Atom bass pedal and all that stuff, but it's like, this is literally just Dillinger Escape Plan and Meshuggah, but that's okay because nothing is original. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
done. Nothing that comes out is, unless it just sounds like static, it's mindless self-indulgence or something, but it's like everything picks from influences of the past. And it's like this band has stuff that has been discovered and played 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's like, maybe I don't feel that outdated after all. It's like what Fake Figures is doing is not that. Is it super dirty and heavy and grungy? Yeah, but it's like simple. you know, it's stuff that maybe a kid can pick up and learn some of the riffs and play along. And that works, you know, for certain bands. If somebody likes Five Finger Death Punch, it's like, it's a hell of a lot easier to learn one of those songs. And, you know, they have some pretty catchy songs too. I don't hate on different bands, but, you know what I mean? It's like, there's something for everybody. And it's like,
I kind of like that experience for kids. Like, like for example, a kid discovers Periphery and they like it. Now they can go back and kind of look at where that band came from in terms of, okay, now I can listen to Meshuggah because it's similar and they've never heard Meshuggah. So boom, here's another 10 albums of whatever that you got, you know, 25 years of Meshuggah to discover.
25 years of and there's lots of kicks and just
math. I'm a nerd. I was having this conversation yesterday with my buddy Joel because he's a drummer and he's like, I'm more into just punk, you know, straightforward, fast beats, you know, a couple fills here or there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a nerd. Like I want to do math at the show. I'm gonna sit there and analyze like how are his feet doing that. With
it's like who wrote that new Meshuggah album? Oh, my TI-83 right here. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm calculus.
Yeah. I mean, you're on another level, dude. Like Dillinger, Every Time I Die, like they have some of the best riffs, and I'm just like, damn, man, like I wish I would have thought of that. But then there's simple bands. It's like I love like Red Fang.
And Red Fang's so great.
Red Fang, and I'm like, there's something about that. And I think metal fans can appreciate a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's, you know, that's a good thing. And it's like some people think that music is more segregated, like in a genre than ever. I'm like, no, people have come together and just mixed all this shit together. And it's like, back when I played shows, it's like we could go to like the Get Up Kids or go see Zayo or go to see Ludacris at the Grove, and like, it's all good, man. It's like, it's all great music, you know? And I think it's like that more than ever, honestly. And it's not segregated. It's like, people are just like, whatever is good. And then they dive in.
There's these weird fusions happening too that I've seen, like Ghost Main, who's like he's a rapper, but he's also doing like a live thing now with a band, and it sounds like metal. Like I'm just, whatever, dude, whatever works.
I think maybe people had fear of like alienating their fan base. You know, even like, I don't know if this is a bad example, like Machine Gun Kelly, and
him switching from rap to what is it, pop rock now, I think.
Yeah, I think and that's cool, man. Do your thing.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Whatever works.
It keeps things interesting. So anyways, yeah. But yeah, man, I need more coffee.
I'm drinking Kill Cliff CBD drink right now.
Kill Cliff. What happened to Cliff?
It's a Joe Rogan thing.
Is it really? That's his thing that he's like aligned with.
He owns this company, part owner, not full owner, but they sponsor the show.
Go to the aliens after I drink it.
I really like it. Only works if you smoke weed with it. Like that's what I've noted. But for me, I'm not saying everyone, but for me, when I take a CBD drink and I don't smoke weed, I don't feel any different. But then when I smoke with it, it's more potent. Like it's not just the weed high. It's like, oh, I also feel my body and my joints kind of chilling out. So I think it's part of the THC probably activates whatever cannabinoids are in it that make it work. So, but going back to you, like I know you got to go. So I just
rude. I was like, I'm here at home and the wife and kids are coming in. So we're gonna hear some banging on the door. It's okay. It's part of the experience because everybody works from home, right?
That's right.
But yeah, man, I love the CBD. I got the tincture, whatever you call them, the little drops. I got the pen. We got some weed. We got all that good stuff. We got some beer. I think the stigma and all that is just like washed away, man. It's like whatever works for you. It's if anything, it's like, what's the next rebellious thing for rock stars, man? It's like, oh, you smoke weed? It's like, well, my grandma smokes weed. That's cool. Yeah.
I can go to the store and get some right now. It's like, I get a receipt for my weed.
Straight edge is still huge. I don't know, because that's the rebellious thing. I don't know, but
how do you have time to manage your existence? Because you've got kids. You're a business owner. You've got clients. You're doing your own thing with PR and writing books. You got the band thing. Like, how are you not a completely insane person right now?
Therapy.
Oh, therapy. Okay, that works. I might look into that.
No, honestly, it's amazing, by the way, but I have like major anxiety, and that's okay because I'm a human being, and most people just don't want to admit their problems or faults or whatever and challenges. And I don't know, man. I'm just pretty like hyper. I drink a lot of coffee, and you just make time for what your priorities are, and try and get some sleep in between, and not be a perfectionist. It's like, thank God I'm not a perfectionist. My room's kind of a mess right now, and I just get done what is a priority in my life, and that's my clients, my family, my friends. And you get, yeah, it's like people like, they'll see the book and they're like, how did he find time? It's like, dude, that took a long time to do that. You know, you just time block stuff and you just chip away at it, just like a band. Like bands don't release albums every week, you know,
Right.
most bands. It's like, that's why it takes 2 years or 3 years for the new Deftones album. It's like, because they're doing other shit.
Yeah.
And then it comes out. But people have this perception that like when people,
They're in the studio for 3 years, sitting there like
they're probably in the studio for a month, let's be real, but just writing everything and getting it all ready, and then, you know, scheduling that shit. But it's like, people think that like when people do things that it's just instant and they're like, they came up with it yesterday. It's like, do people plan this stuff? And they might even procrastinate on it for a long time, and then they finally do it, and then they move on to the next thing, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta try that CBD drink though. Looks pretty cool. I
I'll
love
get
Joe.
you. I'll get you some. I have some here. Like I said, they sponsor the show, and I didn't know you drank often, so I got to get you the new Rock and Roll Beer Guy beer. Just came in.
What is that from, dude? That's so sick.
Yeah, we collaborated with Cosmic Eye. It's the I Don't Really Listen to Podcasts is the name of the beer. And it's a modern American lager we did. It's 4% with some hops. It's just came in this like last night while I was out in San Diego getting drugged.
Congrats, man. Dude, man, you're like a brand. I mean, you were a brand, but now you're like a brand.
It's insane. I don't know what I gotta get like help. I gotta find someone to help me with like. I don't want to get screwed. You know, I gotta get an LLC and all that nonsense going.
Yeah. It's good to have something to protect your assets. You know, like that's completely separate. Maybe we can get an accountant on the show. You know, I got a buddy who does a lot of Rockstar accounting. I don't know if he wants to be named or be on the podcast, but
give us all your secrets. No, I'm just kidding.
My wife's friend, who's one of my old friends, she's a business manager for Rockstar. So those are two separate things. There's the kind of the accountants who do like your taxes, and he does Rockstars, but my other friend does like business management for huge artists. And I know she does a lot of PR stuff, but maybe we'll hit her up for you. But she does massive artists, like huge.
That's
stuff.
awesome, man.
But just talking about like, yeah, artists need to take care of their business, right? Like PR is just like a sliver of like taking care of your shit. Yep. You know, you got to take care of your finances. You got to take care of your mental health. You got to take care of your relationship with other band members so you don't kill each other.
Right.
Money too. You know, you got to figure out how to make money and monetize your assets and not give away everything for free. And a lot of artists just don't know how to do that. And that's why they honestly never make it. Even if they have a buzz, they just, or maybe they get their money from TuneCore and they spend it all on an Xbox, you know, and it's just like, dude, see that, invest in your Instagram posts and things like that. So, yeah, that's a rabbit hole. But yeah, dude, congrats on your beer, man. That's so rad.
No, we'll hang out. I'll give you some of the CBD and some of the beer. And dude, you're killing it. You're killing it. I mean, you're all over the place, and I hope to see more. I really do.
Yeah,
I hope you guys play some shows here in LA.
Yeah.
I want.
Where you're at? Are you up in LA?
Yeah, I'm in LA.
Okay, cool.
I'm in by the La Brea Tar Pits.
Cool. Don't get stuck.
Yeah, it smells great. I'm just kidding.
Not bad.
When you drive by it, it smells like tar, like fresh tar.
So like someone's like paving out front and redoing the.
Yeah, like I've been to. They have a little dog park area there, so I take my dog sometimes, and it's just you see it bubbling out of the ground. They have like, and all they do is put down like a cone, like, "Hey guys, right here, bubbling tar, just don't touch it." And it's so weird. Like there's like fire hydrants that are covered in tar because it just comes out.
That's super weird, dude.
Sounds dangerous.
I've known about the La Brea Tar Pits my entire life, but I'm not gonna lie. I know how a lot of things work, but I don't know how that works. It's like, is that like Yeah.
It's little cracks in the crust of the foundation of the earth, and there's just tar coming out like blah, 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 and it just bubbles. It's super hot because it's coming straight from the core. So it's just it's really really weird and surreal to be there, because you stand there and it's just there's a pond. It's like a pond, but in the pond you just see bubbles of like tar popping up and like bubbling, and they have statues of like prehistoric animals that are like, oh, these used to be here. They're not here anymore.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
We got stuck in the car.
Yeah.
Crazy,
But
dude.
anyway, brother, I'm going to let you go. Everybody that's listening and watching, if they want to follow you on social media, what's the easiest way? Because there is a wrestler that pops up when I look you up too sometimes.
And the manager of the former manager of the U.S. soccer team, I think, is Bob Bradley. And just Bob Bradley on social media, and for the band, it's just Fake Figures. And then my PR is bradleypublicity.com. All my social media handles are different, so I'll send that to you.
All right. Well, guys, if you're listening and watching, check it out. Check out Fake Figures. They have a Bandcamp. You can get the music there. Go to Amazon. Pick up Public Relations for Musicians by Bob Bradley. Thanks again, dude. We'll hang out soon.
All right, man. Enjoy the beer.
Cheers, man.
See you guys. Thanks.